Hey, welcome, it's Zia. And today I'm going to be doing something a little bit fun, something I'm really excited to do. I'm going to be doing a Rapunzel inspired makeup tutorial. Now, I'm a bit of a Rapunzel nerd, having heavily related to her story. So I know a lot of variations of a very well-known fairy tale, and it's basically like, which Rapunzel version do I do? And things like that. But I've decided with this one we're going to go of people's most common knowledge of Rapunzel, which is purple and Disney. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'm going to be talking you through how I think Rapunzel would wear her makeup every day if she did. So let's get started. I'm going to be featuring today as well the Essence palette with Rapunzel in it, which is very exciting. As you can see, even her makeup on here is very, very different to how Disney recreates her and things like that, wearing, in this case, a mauve lipstick, which isn't quite what Disney says. And we're going to be using these shades in here. I think overall the palette is phenomenal. I think it is such a good palette for the price, and honestly I've tried high-end palettes that have been worse than this one, so it's absolutely incredible to see such an affordable palette be so amazing. To start with, I'm just taking my Covergirl Clean Fresh foundation and I'm going to be popping that all over my face. Personally, I think that Rapunzel would wear a very, very natural base. I'm talking not a lot here, and this is an extremely light coverage sort of foundation. I wouldn't really call it a foundation if I'm honest. I'd call it more of a BB cream, but it is nice to have a little bit of a base put down before anything else, just to even out some skin color and whatnot like that, as I have very red skin. And then I'm going to be taking my YSL Touche Eclat sort of concealer, or luminous pen as they call it now, and popping that just under my eyes to make sure it's nice and bright. If you ever try this pen and you're like, this is way too dark, like I thought it would be when I swatched it, once you blend it out, it does become a much lighter color than when it originally is placed. So when I put it on my skin, it looks very yellow and way too dark, but once I blend it out, it really brings out that white sort of undertone, which is perfect for someone like myself. And now I'm just going to be taking my all-time favorite powder. This is from Shiseido. It's their Synchro skin powder, and I absolutely love it. I use it all the time. It's my favorite sort of pressed powder. I tried to choose products in this tutorial that I feel Rapunzel would actually really like and enjoy, and sort of follows that Rapunzel theme that I was talking about that I'm looking for. So I tried to choose products reminiscent of the film and the books and things like that. Keeping with that notion, I'm going to be using the BareMinerals Blonzer in Kiss of Pink, which is this gorgeous pale pink shade, as I feel Rapunzel would definitely be into the pink blush. I'm going to take it up really, really high, as Rapunzel's face shape is pretty round, and she wears, more often than not, a lot of blush. So I feel like that one we can relate. And now one of the favorite products I found that I feel really represents Rapunzel, especially the Disney Tangled version, is this powder by MAC. It's a highlighting powder, and it's in the shade Showgirl Extra Dimension Skin Finish, and it's got this beautiful purple sparkly packaging, which I feel is very Rapunzel. But best of all, it's got a beautiful golden flower that has a pink reflect, and I think this is perfect. It reminds me very much of the Sundrop flower from the film and animated series, and when I saw it, I audibly like yipped. I was so happy, and I think that it is so reminiscent of so many things, and the subtle duochrome it has, where it sort of shifts that very pale sort of pink ethereal glow, I think would suit her perfectly. Don't be scared by this if you're pale. it looks pretty dark, but it does go on a lot lighter as well, so keep that in mind. And to the top of the cheekbones, that goes. And I love putting a little bit on my nose and on the bridge. And that's how the highlight looks. I'm absolutely obsessed with this highlight. It's one of my favorites ever. I've never really tried too many MAC products, but oh my gosh, this is incredible. So please grab it while you can. Next, I'm taking the tried and true Nars Tinted eyeshadow base, and I'm just going to be popping that on to have a nice clean line, so I don't have any of my blue veins showing on my eyelids. Essence also released alongside that a Rapunzel flat brush, and for eyeshadow I think it is really good. It's amazing. I use it all the time. I use it more than my Too Faced brushes because I find this is so much nicer. I also picked up the Jasmine brush that they also released, because along with this palette they released a Princess Jasmine palette, which is a princess I'm not all that fond of, and I have those similar colors in my collection, so I didn't see the point, which is a nice fluffy shader brush. And I also find that this is incredible and better than a lot of the Too Faced brushes in terms of picking up product and minimizing any fallout that could occur. And I'm going to be taking this shade down here, which is called Blondie, and popping that all over the lid. Now in the inner portion of the crease, I'm going to be taking this shade here, which is called Flen, which is a really pretty sort of muted purple shade with a bit of shimmer. I think that Rapunzel would absolutely be wearing makeup, as she has been commonly associated with paint. And unlike the walls, in which she does not rinse, makeup is kind of like painting on your face, except it's a constantly cleared out canvas. So I can put makeup on, wash it off, and the next day I've got a essentially nice bland easel again to paint on. So I feel like painting would be something Rapunzel would do, not only around her, but also on her own face. And then I'm going to be taking the shade Tower, which is this really pretty purple with little white fleeks in it, sort of shimmery specks, and I'm going to be putting that on the outer crease. Now I'm going to be taking a pencil brush with the deep purple shade called Paint, which is absolutely stunning. I love it. And I tried to use the shades that I thought were the most reminiscent of what Rapunzel would wear. And I'm just putting that in the outer section just to deepen everything up, because if one thing Rapunzel is also known for, it's her incredibly larger eyes. And then I'm going to be running a little bit of paint under the outer third of my eye. And now I'm going to be taking the shade Pascal, which is this very light one here, which is a sort of soft sand, a light sand color, and popping that in my inner corner. I also drag it out a little bit for the first third of my bottom lower lash line, as I find that really makes your eyes pop and look really large, as we want to get our eyes looking as large as possible. And then I'm going to be going back into Tower with the same sort of pencil brush and just putting that in the sort of leftover area we've got here where there's not a lot of product going on. Personally, I think Rapunzel would absolutely wear eyeliner to help accentuate that sort of area going on, and you can see she has quite a thick lash band, and I'd say a little bit unnaturally thick. So personally, I think eyeliner is the way to go. I'm taking this new to me Epic ink liner from NYX. It's a brush tip and I absolutely love it. If you're struggling with watery eyes in the inner corner, I find this is the only eyeliner that actually sticks. It says waterproof. I would not go that far. If you're going to swim in it, it's going to leave. However, water resistant, it's the best I've ever tried. In terms of like teary eyes and things like that, I I get a few little allergies and things like that, and it's very windy here right now, so my eyes water a lot, and this does not budge. So if you're a fellow emo and you're looking for an eyeliner that is actually going to work well and stay on, I would highly recommend this. Now I've just created a simplistic sort of line on the top eyelash look. Instead of doing the classic Western technique of doing a nice cat flick, I'm actually going to bring it down slightly to give me more that Bambi doe-eyed anime look, because I feel like that gives a more innocence to the look that's much needed when it comes to Rapunzel's innocence and somewhat naivety about the outside world. So I'm just taking that line and I'm going to be extending it down slightly. And now we have the eyeline sort of going down. I'm going to bring it in to the inner portion, sort of the outside of my iris on this side, all the way in a more straight line. I'm not going to follow my natural lash line, as that way it'll make the eyeliner appear more natural. Now this is an extra step and I mainly do it for fun, but I'm going to be drawing tiny little fake eyelashes on the bottom with my eyeliner on that eyeliner band. I find it looks very obvious while I don't have mascara on, but once I do, it creates a level of depthness, and you can't really tell that I've drawn eyelashes on my face unless you're really close up to me, so it gives the illusion of larger eyelashes without having to use false lashes, which is something I'm not very skilled at all. And this is how they end up looking at, like very intense, sort of at the level I've got you at, but once you're further away and I've got mascara on, I promise it won't look this crazy. I find that I'm pretty new to drawing on fake eyelashes, but if I just take my time and do it very softly and then I go over it with a bit more pressure to create that level of depth and darkness I'm looking for, I find that's the easiest way to do it. So I'm just going to repeat the same process on my other eye and I'll be right back. And now I've finished both eyes. This is how the eyeliner looks up close. Again, very insane without any mascara on, but that's okay. We're about to fix that. I've been testing out over the last couple of days the new Maybelline Colossal Curl Bounce Mascara. This is the waterproof version, and so far I love it. I really love mascaras that have this sort of banana shaped wand to it, as I find they work really, really well in lifting your lashes. I have quite a lot of lashes and they're pretty thick, so they can get weighted down pretty easily, but I find with this I don't have that problem. One of the things about Disney's Rapunzel is she goes what I call through the blondification of a Disney princess, which is basically when the Disney princess has blonde hair, they like to give her very subtle makeup, very natural looking everything, that very classic beauty look because of the blonde hair. And you can excuse sort of Elsa from this, because I find Elsa to have white hair rather than necessarily blonde hair, as Elsa's hair is an unnatural shade of white, I guess, or like blonde hair. I don't really count her, but if you look at things like Cinderella or Aurora, they all have pretty similar makeup. Rapunzel in Disney probably has the most crazy makeup for a blonde princess due to the amount of blush she wears on her cheeks. But seriously, now I pointed it out, if you start to compare other Disney princesses of different ethnicity or hair color, they get a lot more fun. They get a lot more different sort of makeup look. So unfortunately, with Rapunzel's origin story being set where it was and things like that, I find she does go through the blondification. So Disney's Rapunzel makeup look is very tamed compared to how she was perceived once they added the addition of clothing and makeup, more of as the story sort of developed and things like that, because the original story of Rapunzel didn't have any reference to her clothing or her makeup or anything like that. So we've sort of added those additions over time, and being stuck with like things like the color purple and the paint, you know, that she does in a lot of recreations of Rapunzel, I find that her makeup got really fun with a lot of purple and gold and things like that, things that would have been representative of the sort of witch's garden in the story of Gothel's garden. So I've tried to tone it down and do something very casual, very relaxed, and at least for me anyway. I don't know about the fake eyelash thing for most, but for me, I find it's a very soft sort of makeup in terms of the eyes and things like that, along with the lip color, you know, that I'm going to be using next. So I'm thinking about doing a more traditional or theatrical version of Rapunzel with a lot of purple and a lot more, well, just more, I guess, in general. But for this version where I'm basing it more of Tangled's Rapunzel or Disney's interpretation, I tried to keep it more muted, more classical and things like that. Speaking of, we're going to be using this Maybelline lipstick. It's a liquid lipstick in the shade 65 Seductress or Virgo. It's in this limited edition packaging, and if you can see, it's got a bunch of little stars on it for the horoscope collection they've just released, and I thought it was perfect considering that Rapunzel charts stars, and this is, you know, got a bunch of star patterns on it, so I thought it worked really, really well with what we're going to be doing. So while I wait for that to dry down, two things to note about this lipstick. It isn't coming off. When I put this on, it's going to be there all day. I won't need to reapply it. The second is that because of that, it is so difficult to get off. Now save yourself some strife and buy the lipstick little black remover thing they have. I have it in my bathroom specifically to take off these lipsticks, because otherwise, if you just take your classic makeup remover where I use everything else, you're going to be scrubbing so hard, and it's really not good for your lips at all. So save yourself the trouble. And I guess like one more thing to note about them as well, no matter how I apply these, I don't know, it's probably just my lip shape, but it's gonna end up on my teeth, and then I just clean it off, and once it dries down, it's fine. So don't let that discourage you, but just keep that in mind. After I apply it, I always check my teeth. I personally think that although her lips are matte in some portrayals, because even Disney can't get their version of Rapunzel's makeup down with the series looking different than the movie and things like that, Rapunzel would wear gloss. I think gloss creates that very young, youthful, like kind sort of you know, appearance, and this was one of the things I really wanted to get before I did this video. It's the Maybelline Lift Gloss. There's a lot of Maybelline in this video, but in the shade 20 Sun, and it is gorgeous. It's this pale sort of gold with a slight bit of pink in it, and again the whole sun with Rapunzel being from the sunflower I think sits really well with me and made me super happy and made me feel like this is definitely one she'd wear. The only thing I don't love about these lipstick glosses is the giant doe foot. I like small lips. I kind of have to angle it a little strangely so it doesn't end up all over my chin. And this is the finished Rapunzel inspired look. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope you liked it. I put a lot of strain on myself with this video. I wanted to make sure I had products that didn't just look like her when they're applied to the skin, but also felt like her applying them, like the highlighter and the lipstick and whatnot. So it'd be really great if you guys like left a comment or anything like that if you fancy. I'm pretty new to YouTube, so it's pretty exciting, but I knew this was something near and dear to my heart that I wanted to do. And let me know if there's any other Disney inspired makeup looks you'd like, or fairy tale inspired makeup looks, because I'd be more than happy to do them for you guys. I hope you enjoy and you come back again soon to view the rest of my content. Bye.